guys? Ben Trebovic here from the Manly Seagulls.
Here's come through Luai.
The SuperCoach Experience podcast is one of the best podcasts going around, boys.
They go to hole. Scores.
Keep doing what you're doing, and yeah, I just want to say, what a podcast.
Running the try.
Go the Mighty Eagles.
Hey lads, Ewan Aiken here from the New Zealand Warriors. Hope you have a big year with the SuperCoach Experience podcast.
He's got the ball to Sims. It's down to hole. To hole. It's gone in again. What a pass.
What is up, guys? Welcome to the SuperCoach Experience podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Savage, the coach of the Savage Turbos. Origin is done and dusted, and we are back. SuperCoach is back, guys. The week off was refreshing. And to join me right now, the reigning champion, Steve Monaghetti. How are you, Timmy?
Yeah, good, man. I'm very good. Yeah, look, I've just been, trying to refresh the SuperCoach mind over the week. Still had a hectic week, but it was nice to have that breather. And I guess back into it, decisions have got to be made pretty quickly. It's Thursday's only around the corner, so yeah, back to rapid brain time.
It's come up really, really quickly, and I'm stressing because I actually had the week off. The week off was very, very refreshing, and I think it was needed for most super coaches. And this time last year was the break you needed to take it out and win it. But we are also joined by Mikey, the coach of Tripjack and Mafia. How are you, Mikey? You've got in just in time.
Good, mate. Perfect timing. Yeah, I'm good. I'm glad we had the week off SuperCoach last week. Time to rest and relax, and ready to get stuck back into the footy this week.
All right, and as you see by the caption, we've got a special guest today, ISAIYA KATOA. He's a halves player for the Penrith Panthers reserve grade side, and he signed with the Dolphins for next year. I'm absolutely stoked to have ISAIYA on. How are you, ISAIYA?
Hey, boys. Thanks for having me on.
No, I really appreciate it. Mikey, I'll let you off the bat as a Penrith fan. Got a question for ISAIYA?
Oh, yeah. Main thing, how excited are you of going to the Dolphins? What led up to all that signing of going to the Dolphins? Like, what made you, go there? What made you not want to stay? Like, talk us through that.
So yeah, it was a pretty tough decision, but when it came around, it happened pretty fast, to be honest. The club just approached my manager. My manager let us know about it. And then we kind of had a bit of a discussion between what the options if I was to go over there. But then we kind of sat on it for a bit because I really wanted to stay at Penrith. It's where I've played all my junior footy. And the club is just, the biggest thing about that club is just the culture that they've built there. It's one of the best. So, but when it comes to making my decision, I had to kind of pick what was best for myself. Opportunities wise, just where I was going to get the best opportunities, and with a fresh start with going over to Redcliffe, with Wayne Bennett coaching over there as well. Not many 18, 19-year-olds get to have that experience. So, then obviously I knew that I had Nath and Romy, and you still got there's a couple more like Shawnee and Kurt Ford. There's still a lot of halves that are in front of me, and they're all guns too. So I still had a lot of time to wait. I think that was the thing that kind of pushed me over at the end, was just I probably wouldn't get a shot up there in a couple of years' time. So
I think it makes perfect sense, man. I think it was a good decision. For me, I think it's really cool that you're going to a new club that, like, in 40 years' time, they'll look back at their first ever, players, and you're one of those guys. I think that's cool. Maybe you'll get a statue out the front or something at the grounds one day. Who knows? But you mentioned you played your junior club footy here. I was going to ask, what club did you play for in juniors?
So I played at my local club called the Glenmore Park Brumbies.
Yeah,
nice.
I started there as soon as I moved over. I think I was 10. And yeah, played from under 10s right through under 17s and 18s. So no, I love that club, and
Wow.
I never wanted to move from that club either. So
That's
I've got
awesome,
a story for you lads, Mikey and Timmy. You know my
go
brother
for it.
Matthew McAndrew. You know him, Isaiah.
oh yeah, I do actually.
So he's my brother. He went over to Glenmore Park from St. Clair Comets, and
Yeah.
I was just getting into Supercoach at this point, and Sean Johnson was my favorite player. And I reckon he was probably your favorite player then too, because when I watched you, you were an exact clone to him at the time.
Ooh.
Was Sean Johnson someone that you looked up to at that point in time?
Yeah, definitely Sean Johnson, especially with his fancy side steps and all of his long range tries. I think that was the biggest thing that I kind of took inspiration from, was his footwork. It was just bloody unbelievable.
And he was Sean Johnson on the field. I would count his Supercoach scores. He set up like 4 tries and had like 8 line breaks just the day I went. And I was just like kicking from the sideline. He was an absolute gun. My brother was more an Aiden Tolman type player. So it was good at least seeing some good footy happening. But Isaiah, the Dolphins, have you met Wayne personally? And if so, if you've had conversations with him, what is he like?
Yeah, I did meet him. I met him at the start of the year, actually. I was over in Queensland for a bit with some family things, so we just thought, why not meet up with Wayne. But no, he's exactly how everyone else talks about him, mate. He's just a great bloke, just so down to earth. And he just, once we talked to him, he just made me feel comfortable about moving over to Redcliffe. Kind of just reassuring me that I'll be fine over here. He'll look after me and with the media, and as a young kid coming through the ranks, and kind of just take me under his wing. So he just kind of made me feel comfortable. But the biggest thing I noticed was he made my family feel comfortable. He made my parents feel comfortable about me going over to Redcliffe as well. So
That's awesome.
It just shows the kind of person he is and how family orientated he is. So it's not just about the players; it's about the players' families as well. So
Maybe you could become his second son, like Darius would be a big
Darius
brother.
Floyd.
Man, how cool would that be? That'd be just unreal.
Be his
Yeah, I
favorite.
got a question, Sabs. Next,
go
just
for
a
it.
quick one. Have you ever played SuperCoach before, Isaiah? And have you ever played before?
No, unfortunately, I haven't. I've never got into it actually, but a lot of my friends, they talk about it. They have a couple of teams of their own. So, but yeah, me personally, I haven't.
That's
I
cool.
was just saying to him off air that in a couple of years, when he debuts in the NRL, watch out for them, because they're going to be the worst kind of fans there is. They're absolutely pest to you.
Yeah.
With the Dolphins side at the moment, how do you think it's shaping up, and what are your short and long-term goals with the club? Obviously, you haven't debuted for the NRL yet. Are you looking at potential first half for the Dolphins?
Yeah, that's definitely a short-term goal of mine. As that could be, within the next 6 months, that could happen. But I'm not going over there expecting to get put in straight away. I know that I got a lot of hard work to do as a young kid, coming out of school and going straight into first grade, pre-season. So that's another challenge for me. But obviously, we all want success. So that's the long-term goal, isn't it? Is just to be successful. And I know that it takes time, especially with a new club. You're not going to get success in the first 2 to 3 years. That takes a lot of time. So I think over the first couple of years that I'm there, I just want to kind of find my way into the team and just slowly build into it. There's no rush for me. So yeah.
You really got your head screwed on for a young fella. You got a great attitude, bro. So I think that's going to go a long way as well. So if you're as talented as you are with the way you approach the start of your career, and the way you're going to approach it, I think you'll go a long way.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Another question just before you go. Any other up-and-comers that you play with or play against that you think we should look out for?
Oh, bloody, there's There's so many. But I think the one that sticks out for me is he was actually the captain of our Penrith SG ball team this year, Mason Teague. He's just so underrated. He's just, one of the best. I reckon he's one of the best middle forwards that I've ever played with. Just his work rate around the field. I think the grand final, his stats were out of it. I think he had about 52 tackles and over 200 running meters and scored a try. So it's just, a lot of people don't really get to see that side of a player. So for me, it's just, that's the kind of player that you just appreciate, and as a team, just someone who does all the dirty work and doesn't get the praise for it. So
it sounds like if he's making that much tackles, he'll be scoring plenty of SuperCoach points anyway. So definitely one to keep an eye on.
Exactly. Any other questions before we let him go, lads?
I'm good.
You good?
I guess the only other thing I was going to ask is, so you grew up in this area. You were a local Glenmore Park boy, or?
So yeah, I was actually born in New Zealand.
Yeah, nice.
And then at the age of 10, we decided to move over here. And that was because we wanted to support my brother and his career. So my parents wanted to come over here and kind of start a new life. And what a move it was. Looking at how far we've come from then. So, but yeah, came here when I was 10. And then just been here, been in Glenmore ever since I was 10. So yeah, it's been 8 years I think now. So
yeah, nice one, bro.
I guess a lot of people don't know, but your brother is Sione KATOA from the Bulldogs, which I mean, there's been a lot of talk.
I didn't even know that.
I
know a lot about Penrith. I'm a Penrith super freak.
There's a lot of talk about you and going to the Dolphins next year, but I don't think I've seen anyone mention the fact that it runs in your family.
Oh yeah, no, I think we're pretty lucky to have some pretty sporty genes. But no, yeah. So yeah, it's pretty good.
All right, we'll let you go and have your dinner.
Producers will turn the lights off.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on, and we look forward to watching your career unfold. I think you're going to have an awesome career, and hopefully you learn a lot off Wayne up there at the Dolphins.
Nah, thanks, boys. Thanks,
for coming on, bro.
Appreciate it.
Enjoy the journey, bro.
Thank you. Bro. Thanks, boys.
Are you suffering from symptoms of same-game multi-minus?
Try TopSport's same-game multi, where your odds stay strong. Some same-game multis decrease with an extra leg, reducing your returns. Get the most out of your multi with TopSport, the same-game multi with strong prices on every leg, so you win what you're expecting to win. Cure your multi-minus by downloading the TopSport app today. Brought to you by TopSport. Feel the excitement.
Don't let the game play you. Stay in control. Gamble responsibly.
All right, cheers to ISAIYA KATOA for coming on the show then, lads. That was a great chat. It was good to have some youngsters on, especially ones that we've been talking about. We've been hearing about a lot of them, and it's great to get a first-point opinion on it.
Well, look what we did for Jason Saab's career at the start of last year by having him on the show. This guy's going to light it up for sure. Be scoring tries for fun. While we're on the topic of our sponsors, TopSport, just a little flex. I cleaned up on the State of Origin, nailed Cleary as the man of the match, and also had a multi with To'o, Burton, and the Blues to win. So it was a really, really lovely experience, especially with the smashing. I did have another bet of New South Wales 1-12, but the fact that the Blues went on to absolutely hammer them, I was happy to lose that $300. Go for it.
Savage is wearing the jumper too. Nice.
You have to go New South Wales 13 plus wearing the jumper right now. Lads, SuperCoach wise, from this game, Payne Haas is a massive one. I sold him last week, but Mikey, I know you still have him. He's actually named this week, which are we surprised?
It's miraculous, isn't it, all the time?
What are your thoughts on Payne Haas? I feel like he's the kind of player that can make or break your season if you hold him too long, or the hold could pay off completely. Well, what are your thoughts on him?
Look, it's interesting. It's definitely been one of my biggest thoughts this week because I was like, all right, awesome. I've got another guy I can now turn over I know he's lost a bit of money, but it's another guy I can turn over for another number for the buy round, which, I fell a bit behind. So the buy round's going to be my best chance to catch up. So I want to do that, but then I look at it and I go, okay, the next two best options are probably Offengawi and David Clemmer. To do that, I need to find 90K. We've got people like Pappenhausen and all these other guns I need to get in. I can't use money. I don't want to upgrade Haas. So then I look at my options down, and looking down, I don't really like too many of them unless Toikamanu who can jag a starting spot next week. And there was someone else from Team List that piqued my interest at a lower price. But as it kind of stands now, I'm like, I don't think there's anyone I like. I've got IPAP, and I'm happy with Max King starting for me for now. So I'm like...
So you could carry him, I guess, couldn't you,
Yeah.
if you wanted to?
I think I'm going to be not forced into carrying him, but I'm down to 11 trades after using one this week, and I really don't want to waste another trade there. Even if he drops a bit of price, if he gains his fitness back for the run home, which Broncos are doing pretty well, they're pushing for a top 4 spot. He's still pumping out 50s being injured. I still think he's worth holding. You've lost a bit of value, and right now he's my backup front row. I'm not going to play him until I think he's fit enough. But, yeah, I really don't want to waste a trade in that front row position. Like, yeah, Clemmer and Offengawi could be handy, but I think the trade and the money needs to be spent elsewhere.
Yeah, I think if you had a guy that you actually really wanted to get into your side and his sort of niggly injury was made you think, well, this is the perfect way to do it then I'd get around it for sure. But if you're sort of like, I've just got do I want to just get John Huffengawi or do I want to get Clemmer, and you're not too sold on either, and you feel like maybe they're only going to be scoring 60s anyway and at best, or maybe just, hold it. I think it's probably patient and smart.
I see. I was with that dilemma last week, and I was so close to going off Ngawe, but one, I had a feeling Isaiah Papali'i will eventually go back to the second row, and I didn't have him, so I just pulled the trigger last week, got him in. He's someone I'm going to keep for the rest of the season in the front row, so I'm happy with that. I think with someone like Offengawe and Clemmer, they're definitely going to be a second front row forward, so I see them as decent trade-in options. But apart from that, I wouldn't be looking elsewhere. But with Haas, them type of injuries seem to linger all year, and you kind of get the shits with the player thinking, oh, why aren't they scoring well? It was kind of like David Fafita late last year. He's battling that rib injury most of the year. And I think someone like Haas, he's, in my opinion, a sell. He's still going to try hard, but I don't think he's going to completely do what he did at the start of the season when he was fit.
Did you just call Payne Haas a try hard?
No, I said would try hard.
You better be careful, bro. Like you smashed someone for treading on his shoes. Don't call him a try hard, bro. Just be careful.
And then we've got Cameron Munster, who AC joined in the shoulder, which is exactly the same injury as Haas sustained a few weeks ago. In the 5'8" role, he is named this week. I'll be surprised if he plays. Tim, with Munster, is he someone you look at selling potentially, or is he just an out-and-out hold?
Who are you asking?
Tim.
Tim.
Yeah, sure. Look, initial thoughts was, okay, maybe I could sell him, but then it depends how long he's out for. If it's only 2 weeks, then I really wouldn't want to do it. If it was 4, I could maybe get around it. But it's hard to definitely know. And you could definitely, at this stage of the season, just carry him and not play him. But then again, he might be a key to, someone else. Like some people are really keen on Matt Moylan. I've heard. I'm not that fussed on it, but I kind of like. I don't have Dill bags. I wouldn't mind Dill bags, but do I want to lose Dill Munster for Dill bags? I don't really know. I think that's a bit of a conundrum. How would I get him back? And because I could sell Cody Walker later and then get Munster back that way. But Cody Walker's my key to Pappenhausen eventually. So that's what his sort of piece of the puzzle is all. So I don't want to sort of take up that car slot, if that makes sense. So I'm really confused on it. Yeah.
I 100% agree. I think that I was thinking about the thought of selling Munster, selling him to Brown, and I was hoping it'd be a nice downgrade to Brown, but I looked at it. It's only 60K you get, and I just don't like the trade. You're probably expecting him to potentially miss this week, definitely miss next week because of the bye, and potentially get rested after the bye anyway. So I feel like you should have sold him prior to round 13 if you were considering selling him now anyway, because you're really getting the same output that you were going to get from him. You got a 43 from him 2 weeks ago. So, I think he's definitely a hold, especially if he plays this week.
Do you think if you play him, like being he's not an impactful player like a Haas that's just getting smashed and stuff a lot, but do you think he's passing a lot? Do you think that's going to affect his involvement? Do you think he'd just sort of be a bit of a passenger on the field and chime in occasionally? Because that wouldn't be great.
I think it really depends, because it means he might not take on the line as deeply and as often. So I think that's when he is most dangerous, when he takes on the line, does the dummy, and then breaks that first tackle. But yeah, I do see a case for selling if you see a Dylan Brown in your final 17, but I don't know.
I see Munster there too, but the problem is it's just like if you sell Munster and he ends up just being sweet, you know what I mean? When he comes back, he's just sweet ass. You're like, oh no. Yeah. You know, and the other guy might not kill it as much. Dillbags might not go off as much as we'd like.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a very tough one. Mikey, I'll go back to you. Let's talk about trades. What trades are we looking at this week for your side?
It's a headache because a part of me is like, oh, look, just cut your losses, keep holding to these trades and go hard for the end. But then another part of me is like, all right, let's go hard for the buy round, which is what my head's at right now. I want to. But then in doing that, I've got to find place to sell and the right place to bring in and also generate money. So my last round was probably one of the worst rounds I've ever had. I was away for work. I fucked up hard. Sorry for my language, but I got to play Cotter instead of Coruscant. Cost me 80 points. I brought in Alex Johnston for Talatau Moan, and this was more so like I wanted to make sure I got in as many of these high ceiling center wings for the buy round, because instead of stacking 14 or 15 numbers, I've now got Molitalo, Campbell Graham. I've got you can add in. I'm getting in Ravalawa. I've got Alex Johnson, so I'm going for peak high center wing so I can bang out 120 on their day and score a bunch of tries, and that's kind of my way to combat the numbers. So happy with that trading, although it wasn't good for that final week. So this week it's just hard to navigate because it's like, do you sell Tago? Break even's getting a bit high, and although I think he's a keep till the end, he's someone you could offload to get a Barnett, a Frizzell, a Ryan Madison. But it's just working out what to do. So before I think we dissect them in this episode, which we will, I'm doing Cooler to Ravalawa. Can Cooler make a lot of money? Am I going early? Yes. But if I want to get my numbers up, I need to at least make one trade this week. So I'm going to do that, get Ravalawa. I like Ravalawa. He's barely going to be played in my side.
You're banging that pronunciation out too. Fantastic. It's a hard one to get your tongue around. I can barely ever do it. So well done.
Well, I've never had him, and we've seen him at last year and the year before. He does get to like a 500K price rise, which is, it's not relevant. I'm not going to be selling him, like trading him out.
You're saying he's due.
But at the same time, he got a 76 on the weekend. Lomax, the Dragons are actually playing some good footy, and I think there's a lot more tries to come. He's barely been playing this year, and the games he hasn't scored tries. So I think he's due. He can get big scores. He costs 317K, so I'm only making 50K there, but he's got job security. And as I said, like instead of grabbing like Grant Anderson, who could become enough, Ravalawa, if I get a lot of injuries and I'm low on trades, he's a perfect person to play. Like my worst center wing will now be Ravalawa. So I think that's pretty good. And then my second trade, I don't know if I want to make a second trade. So that puts me to 11 trades. But look, I wanted to maybe save one and then next week I could use 3 or boost with 4. But I've got Ruben Cotter. I wanted to wait and turn him into Harry Grant. But now a side of me sees Brendan Smith starting at lock. Do I do that, make 250K and get ready to bring in Pappenhausen? Because that will give me the funds. If Pappenhausen doesn't get named for Blues next week and he's not in the 18-man squad, I've got to have him. So
can I just
get myself? Go, Tim.
I agree, Tim. I agree, Tim.
I've got Cheese, and I did it purely for the downgrade to fund Campbell Graham because I needed to upgrade like a real dud in the centre wings to Campbell Graham.
Yeah.
So I downgraded like Hudson Young was saying, are you going to be planning to play him? Because like I've been really unimpressed, and I've been looking at him even in the Queensland game. I was like, I don't know that I can ever play him. And I looked at the teams, and I was excited he was starting, but I was like, hold on, it's a bit of a trap that I'm getting sucked into here. Wanting to play
It's
him.
hard.
I've gone to play him a few weeks in a row now, and he would have really let me down.
I
spot
might play
he's
him
a
this
backup
week.
guy, I think he can do it because that's what I've got him there for.
Yeah, I've got Coruscant, so
He's
he'd
been
become
very,
him.
very
But then,
underwhelming. He's not playing big minutes at all, man. And
yeah, it's a tough one. That's kind of what's leading me away from that.
I
Yeah,
thought he'd be more handy than what he's been.
yeah,
I
it's
thought he was going
just
to be more
tough.
handy when I picked him up. I thought, no, he'll come good, and he hasn't.
Like other people, you've got to work out how you're going to clear the funds.
Think
So
about
if
it.
I
Just keep
don't
looking
do
at
that
Costa.
plan, I could go
Yeah.
Calder to McInnes, and the McInnes
Mikey.
could be an easy segue around it. Or I was also thinking,
My advice is-
my other way. Yeah, go.
If you're going to play him, you're going to say he keeps pumping out 30s and you lose
Not
the
gonna
points
play.
that you would have otherwise got. Let's say you did. Then the guy you're trying to get that's going to start scoring what you hope to be more than, your second trade, you're hoping him to bring him points. It's just going to balance out by bringing in the cheese with him. And if you're playing cheese, as long as you can leave cheese on the pine and just sort of have him as a backup when you need him.
And he could
it'd
be. I think he'll be
sweet,
great
but
for next week. Yeah, it's
you don't
tough.
want to be getting to
yeah.
Mikey, I
Go,
just want
Seth.
to butt in here quickly.
Yeah.
I'm not planning to get Pappenhausen in before round 17. I'm very scared of leg injuries, and if it was something like
You get Tom in all the time. You're not scared of leg injuries.
and look what that did to me earlier in the season. It absolutely I'm 98th at the moment, and if I didn't get Tom in, who knows what it could have been. I think that's why I'm much more keen on Jerome Hughes at the moment, but that's spending another trade because Pappenhausen's in your final team. But
So would Jerome Hughes.
Look at that round 17. Dale Finucane, Cameron McInnes, Nico Hines, Talakai possibly. They're all going to be playing for the Sharks. It's not a great matchup. It's not a bad matchup, but it's not a great matchup. I don't think he's a must-have for round 17.
I think for someone in my position, I did this with Nathan Cleary. I got him early. I spent the money. I spent the exact same money for Pappenhausen, getting him in before everyone else could, because you're going to have a lot of guys that are going to think like that, Sab. So the point is, get him first, get him ASAP, get him in a buy round, and just get him in, lock him in, because my fullbacks will be Tedesco, Pappenhausen. So to try and make that a good move, I want to get in before the whole of the masses do, or before the majority does. So to make that move worthwhile, I think I'm willing to take the punt at rank 4,000. So, but I understand what you're saying. Like, he's got 140 break even. He's coming back from a leg injury, which I don't think they've rushed. He was meant to come back so many weeks ago. He's had plenty of time to rest. I think he'll play tomorrow. I think Meany will move into 5'8", and I think Pappenhausen will play fullback. And
I think
man, if I could move heaven and earth, if I could move heaven and earth to get him this week, which I don't think is possible, I'd love to do it. I'd love to grab him in this week, but should I grab him? I don't know. I don't know, man.
I feel like we feel like I don't know about you guys, but it feels like SuperCoach was so long ago that we're so out of our depths at the moment, and we're just not on top of it like we used to be. Timmy, I'll go back to you, not for trades just yet, but back to the Pappenhausen thing, round 17. I think there was a point where I was going to take it easy on round 17, but I'm looking at these high upside players throughout the whole season, even after Origin. There's not many of them that we need to prioritize getting in. I think I'm going to go hard at round 17, get as many as I can. I'll be saving one trade between now and then, or using that trade to get in a Harry Grant or something in between. What
between now and 17?
What are your tactics for 17?
So that means either this week or next week, right?
This week I'll be getting in Harry Grant potentially. But I'm still tossing up between trades. But what are your kind of thoughts on the round 17 at the moment?
Yeah, it's hectic. I really felt I'd have some clarity by now. I looked at the teams list. I really kind of hate putting this out there, but kind of wanted there to be some sort of
injury
stuff. Yeah, I didn't want to say the word. Some sort of something happened that wasn't too bad and didn't cause anyone any long-term longevity. Maybe just 4 to 5 weeks where it made my decision easy, and I could then move the pieces a lot easier. For me at this point, the thing is not about who do I want to bring in. It's who am I prepared to let go of? You know what I mean? There's probably plenty of people I could bring into my side, but at the moment, there's just very, very little people I'm willing to cut. And anyone that I'd be willing to cut has no value. They're pretty much bottom dollar basement price. So I'm stuck, man, because I'm kind of like whoever I get means selling, as I said, someone I'm probably not prepared to. So as Mikey mentioned, I'm looking at someone like a Tago, which they're now calling Tango. We've got, who was the other one? Crichton. So I'm considering selling Angus. His scores haven't been that overwhelming.
I sold Angus last week, Timmy. I bit the bullet just for the pure fact that he's got such a bad record against Panthers. He's not going that great, and everyone now owns him. So I'm not interested. No, it's not. His last 3 scores are average. They're average. But the thing is with him is everyone owns him. No, I had a look at it the other day, but I might be wrong. But everyone that has him. Yeah, everyone has him now. And he's not going
73, 80, and 82.
Oh, there you go. It's not as bad as I thought. I thought it was lower.
Pretty good.
Yeah. Look,
I do see a comment here. The Roosters run gets really easy. So I've been tossing up between selling Tago and Tupanua all week as well. But I'm looking at the Roosters draw. And someone like Tupanua, I'm like, he's not going to hurt me if I don't have him because no one really has him. But at the same time, he's that kind of pod that people look at and want to get in for the back half of the season. That can, like you did it last year, Timmy, with Tupanua. Started the year with him, and they got him back later in the year.
Just quickly, Sabs, I want to disagree with this comment. I don't think their run's easy.
Comment?
The Lyle's comment. The Roosters run gets really easy.
That's funny. Disagree with Lyle.
Yeah, no, I don't think their run gets really easy. It's Penrith, and then it's Dragons next, and then Knights is an easy one. But other than that, Manly, Broncos, Cowboys, Tigers, Storm, Bunnies. There's Tigers and the Knights, but those other teams are really competitive at the moment.
So it's pretty mixed though. So potentially these sort of players are matchup guys. They're not someone that you have.
After Penrith, Dragons, Newcastle, Manly, I reckon are pretty easy. Manly's on the
Dragons are competitive and can perform an upset on their day, and Manly keep just playing good footy without Tom. In all honesty, I don't think they're a sure thing of bang.
But they still let in points, whether or not they'll win the game or not. You know what I mean? If they can still allow
the Dragons sitting against the Bunnies, and that screwed me.
Which one?
Bunnies are shit.
Yeah, the Bunnies game. Look, it's just one thing I've learned at the moment with some of these teams is they're not all a sure thing, and the Roosters haven't clicked to what we thought they would yet. Even now, they're still not at 100%. That's just my opinion, but
very interesting. Timmy, what are you looking at this week then? Just on that then.
Probably the one thing that's on my mind that I'm probably going to make happen, but I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to do it. It's just I don't know which one's going to be the guy. I want to get IPAP. I don't have IPAP. Now, do I sell Max King? Geez, he's been reliable, and I kind of just want to keep that guy. Hey, I just feel like he's a nice backup. And for some reasons, the Doggies games always seem to be on the Sunday or the very last game of the week. So if things go wrong in your side throughout the week, you can always have him as a reserve. You know what I mean? That last reserve that you can end up putting it on, and I think that's a handy thing. Other than that, I'll have to look at selling Tago, Crichton, and then they're all stressing me out. So, and then I'm thinking, how am I thinking about keeping King over Tago? Why would I sell Tago? I'd keep Tago, sell King. But so that the loop in my mind of who I sell is doing my head in. Yeah, but I'll probably be IPAP, and I'd love to just not make any trades because I'm scared to make the wrong trade out, to be fair.
I think that is a very tough thing at this point of the year.
But I can't make no trades because I've got bloody 5 buy numbers for round 17, so I need to start. I need to keep the wheels.
You're going to have to make 2. You got to get 2 guys in for sure.
All right, what I'm looking at.
Think of one.
It's been Tago all week, but I think I'm going to change that to Tupanua because the guy I'm trading him in for is very similar. I'm getting in Kolomatangi. I think the players kind of like Kikau and Tupanua have been really good this year to play on matchup. I think Kolomatangi isn't really someone from the Rabbitohs that is going to be draw dependent. You can play him any week if you absolutely need to. And that being said, on the good matchups, I think he's got that high ceiling that I want. And he's that. If you're going to get a pod, they need to have a high ceiling, and Kolomatangi has a high ceiling, so I'm going for him.
Good price. Good price.
Yeah, good hair game as well.
Yeah, so I bank about 20K from that, and I was looking at doing Cotter to Grant, but I couldn't quite fund that, so I'm thinking for a 2 or 3 week play, Cotter to Reed Marnie, and that banks me 100K, and I can downgrade one of my Coolers or Karazes next week to upgrade elsewhere. And that's kind of my thought process at the moment. What do you guys think?
How many trades you got left? You got 12 or 13?
13.
And then after 2, what, you're going to make 2 this week?
So 11 after that.
Yeah.
And then I probably won't make 3 in round 17. I'll make 2. And if I do make a third, it'll be someone who isn't playing to an Origin type person who I want to get in. Because you've got to think about it. Like, do we want David Fafita? Do we want Cameron Murray? Do we want Harry Grant?
So many people.
There's so many players.
We need 35 player squads, I reckon. That's the one thing. That's the only change. I don't really want to change anything, but I need more halfbacks and more 5'8s. And I wouldn't mind an extra fullback too. Just give me more halves and 5'8s.
It's making it tough to navigate because, if you want to stack your numbers for the buy round, then you're going to have to miss a lot of these guys because you're using the trades to do it. But at the same time, when you're in a rank like I am, or if you're behind the pack, you got to fill numbers for this buy round, or I'm not going to catch up. So I think I'm just going to make sure I prioritize guys like Harry Grant, Ryan Pappenhausen, guys that I know that can absolutely demolish me in that position, and then catch up with pods. So yeah, I like both your trade stabs. Like, I'm thinking similar. Like, I looked at Kolomatangi, but then again, I look at my side. I've got Kikau. I've got Owakalatu. I've got a lot of those guys that are similar. So I'm also looking at Frizzell or Barnett. I think for a similar price, I think Barnett is a touch cheaper. I really like Barnett, but then I'm like, if I go Tago to Barnett, then will I be able to get Madison? And I want Madison for this week. So I'm sorry, for next week. I'm waiting because he's got a high break even. And there was even talks that he might miss the game this week. So he's not going to get picked for Origin with the way the Blues picked. I think he's almost a must. Ryan Madison. I heard some whispers or something about an injury or something that he might not play, but he got named today. I was surprised because I was hoping he didn't play. I got Murata Niokore, so I wouldn't have minded to start from him. But yeah, Madison, while we're talking about him, are any of you boys keen? I'm feeling like he's someone great to pick up. He's been banging out some good scores. I know he's expensive, but I want to be picking up these guys for the buy round that you can happily play in your 17 for the run home. And that's why I think Tago to Madison. I'm talking about Madison. Sorry. Yeah, I'm thinking Tago to Madison.
You've got even made that clear. I was zoned off for a second.
Yeah. But that's why I'm thinking Tago to Madison next week. Let Madison come down, hopefully. Give Tago another week. I'm probably not. I won't play him against the Roosters, but yeah. What are your thoughts about Madison, Timmy? Like, are you going to be passing on him?
He's looked like he kind of went under the radar for me when everyone was like, "Geez, he's been playing good." Yeah, he's been punching it out, and I was like, "Oh, has he been punching it out? Has he?" Sort of looked at his scores, and then I went back and watched the games. I was like, "Oh, geez, yeah, okay, wow." Just because you just expect. I'm used to him playing a different role, that sort of bench role where he's offloading and stuff. Just the fact that he was like in the middle, just crunching it out a lot. He was getting offloads in as well. Yeah, I kind of do like it. It is expensive though. He's probably not massively on my radar just now. Is he going to be a possibility to give you coverage, or do you think he'll be in the squad, won't he? For the Blues. Yeah.
Oh, look, he wasn't in the squad at all for the Blues for the last game, and after how the Blues just won, then
he got dropped.
he's not going to be in the 18-man squad. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I mean.
good.
That's what's made me more keen on Madison. It's like, how Crichton, we all thought he was going to play Origin, and he didn't. Everyone brought him in. So I'm just thinking he's someone that I think you'll need for that next buy. And unfortunately, Parramatta aren't going to lose too many forwards for that Origin game. It's just going to be Paulo. So if anything,
it's Paulo.
Yeah, he's another one that's changed too. But yeah, it's interesting because now another side of me goes, take her to Mitchell Barnett this week. Barnett's 464K, boys. He's punched out a 71 and a 61. With that -3, his price plummeted. Break even of 32. That bench from Newcastle is very inexperienced, so the minutes are there. Oh,
and
he's
Taylor
tempting.
Ponga is out this week, so.
Oh, do I go Barnett now? Oh, it's far out.
He will be goal kicking this round and round 17 if Milford doesn't take it off him. Milford kicked for Samoa.
You reckon
on the
Tex
weekend.
Hoy will kick, or no? Tex Hoy wasn't
no, Tex Hoy might.
He might.
Yeah, I wouldn't be picking up with the hope of kicking goals, but I'm also just thinking his minutes are up, his work rate is up, and we know what this guy can do with that work rate. So he only got 66 minutes and 56 minutes a week before, which concerned me, but his PPM is up massively, and I just think for that price, you can make 50K from him. But I think I'm just going to wait. I think if I make a trade this week, it's going to be that Brandon Smith one, but I'm feeling like Timmy this week. My head's all over the place. I don't know what to do.
Jake's on location at the moment. He's just down currently watching the Titans train. He said that Tex Hoy is doing a lot of extras. He's hung around. He's been goal kicking. So there you go. That's come straight from it's exclusive from Jake from the podcast.
And so we've got Barnett. I've got his minutes up here because I think that's the reason I didn't get him in. He's played 2 80-minute games this year, which I didn't like out of 8 games. So I think I've got to see probably one more 80-minute game from him to pull the trigger. But I like it, Mikey. And Madison, I think he's gone. And the fact that all is good again, Papali'i on the edge, Madison back in the middle, starting. I love it. And I think Timmy Papali'i is a great
Can I ask you a question? Is Papali'i going to be running at...
He's on the right.
Sam Walker. No, Sam Walker defends on the right. Oh, will he defend on the right side now and Hutcho on the left?
They're playing the Bunnies.
Oh.
So he'll be running at Arrow.
And who's the half there, though? It'd be who's on the left? It'd be Cody Walker, right? Oh, is he on the right? Hold on, where's iPad run on the left?
Yeah, so it'll be Cody Walker, Campbell Graham.
Damn, it would have been good if he was running at Elias.
Yeah, I know, right? All right, guys. Brent Anderson, what are our thoughts on him? The more I think of it, I mean, you can make an argument either way. I like your thought process, Mikey, with Ravalawa. These players, you don't want them for the cash generation. You want them for you're going to keep. What are you laughing at?
Your pronunciation. After Mikey's been nailing that. Oh, look, I can't do it myself. I can't say his name.
Oh, I'm usually hopeless.
The way you did it was funny. I just want to say
Ravalawa?
No, Ravalawa. It's Lawa.
It's tough. It's I think it's the toughest name in the game to say.
Ravalawa. I think Oluwakalatu is still the hardest. But anyway, sorry, go back.
Tino
Oluwakalatu's easy.
Malawi.
Yeah, it's really hard, but I know how it needs to be.
Nelson Afisa Solomona. That's a tough one to say. I always Afisa. I get too much going.
So
you're right.
Yeah, so Mikey's thought process of McKaylee Ravalawa. I like it because you're going to hold this person for the rest of the year and play. There's going 100%. There's going to be a point where you're going to need this player to play them 1 week. So a Ravalawa on your bench is much more handy than a Grant Anderson who is playing reserve grade.
Yeah. Look, my thought process on it is like, firstly, Pappenhausen is in the reserves and we expect him to come in if fit. If that's the case, we still do not know the answer to the question of who gets dropped over Eremia or Anderson, because Anderson had a really great first game, but then last week, I can't say Eremia or whatever. He's that Dean guy on the wing.
I think they keep him. I reckon they keep him.
Well, he went really well in the last game, and so do I. So I don't like that trade for those reasons. Where, say, next week, if Anderson didn't get named this week, but he gets named next week for some reason with all the outs they've got, then I don't mind him as a trade-in, because I'll be looking next week too. If I don't go this Brandon Smith mood, I'll be looking to move on Karaz, because I've got centre wing depth. I want to move on Karaz down to a buy player cheapie. I don't care if that cheapie disappears, but I want a bottom dollar round 17 player from one of those teams.
What do you mean?
No, like example, say Anderson never played his game. He's 178k. He's playing next round. Then he disappears. I would like that, because then that gives you 250 odd K cash in Karaz, even if Karaz could be a hold, and that 250K could be used to grab Pappenhausen, Madison, and I've got a lot of depth in the center wing. So I'm looking at that. I want a number and money. I think that's why I don't like the Anderson one this week, because it's going to rob you of doing that next week, and you'd miss a guy like Ravalawa, or you could pick up Iremaya, which I think is the correct.
He's going to go up in price though this week, isn't he, Mr. Anderson?
If he plays. And if he plays, if Pappenhausen doesn't. If Pappenhausen does, we think they play the first game, luckily.
Yeah.
So you've got time to put in a couple of plans.
Iremaya is a pretty good one at a similar price to Ravalawa.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because we had not a debate, but we were discussing it where you were more keen on him and I was more keen on Ravalawa. And I think by the end of it, Jake and
I want to have a turn of saying it now. You guys have said his name so many times now, it's getting silly. Ravalawa. Yes!
No, Ravalawa. That was close enough.
I don't know. I got that.
Oh, I think you said Ravalawa, but it's close enough.
What about at a slight tick above this price to Ravalawa? This is the guy who gave us the early season news that Hudson Young will play 80 minutes for the year. And I'll tell you what, he's played 80 minutes every game all year. So that was some good Canberra mail. Any love for Kennedy, lads? What do we think here? Break even of
you had love for him.
10. I've got love for him. He's going to break even to -10. But I've got to be honest, playing the Bulldogs this week, I was expecting it to be a bit of an easier matchup, but I'm a bit scared. I think that they haven't let in that many points in the last 2 weeks. What are your thoughts on Kennedy?
I look, I like it, but at the same time, we're talking about Pappenhausen and all these guys you got to fit in. I'm looking at my fullback spot. I've got Heinz Tedesco. I picked up Ezra Mam, unlike you guys. So, all right, I can't get rid of him. He needs to play the bye, and I've got Cleary. So I'm actually struggling to fit Pappenhausen in before the bye. So then how could I possibly fit in Will Kennedy? And I think a lot of other guys are going to have that same problem. If you brought in Ezra Mam as a cheapie, you probably got Cleary in the half. Says your half stacked. You probably got Hines. You got all this. It's like, how can you fit all these guys in? But I think for the price point, I like it. But I think if you grab in Kennedy now, are you going to be able to run him for the rest of the year? Like, he takes up a fullback spot. I think you're going to need to have Tedesco and Pappenhausen there, or, one and another fullback. So that's why I don't like it, because it'd be a waste getting him in now.
Yeah, no, that was my plan, though, because...
Yeah, for you, it makes sense, Sabs.
He was coming off a -3 and a -10, and I knew he is worth well above that. In the last 2 weeks, he's performed at what he usually puts out, and now his break-even is -10 again. So what he's going to do is going to go up to his original price or somewhere near there, and he'll be stepping stone to Tedesco after round. I'll probably leave it after round 18 and get Tedesco in 19. So that's my plan. And Sharks...
Under strength, yeah.
Sharks' last 4 games are juicy, so they do have quite a good draw towards the end. It's gonna be hard having so many Sharks players. Like, a lot of us have Talakai, Mulatalo, Hines. What are our thoughts with the Sharks players? That they plays every week, or is Mulatalo someone we're gonna have to, bench some weeks?
I'll be too scared to bench Mulatalo. Like, he didn't score a try last week and he got 43. I'm happy with that. He scored a
I was
massive
very
score
annoyed
against
with that
Melbourne
too.
last time. Yeah. Well,
I only
look,
brought him in
yeah, which
that
is
week
fair enough.
too.
But
That's when you bring him in.
example, I don't think like the problem is there's so many juicy guys from the Sharks to get for this buy round, which is probably why we're going to stack up. But to be honest with you boys, if Talakai makes that 18-man blue squad, he's probably going to go for me next week. There's so many good second rollers to grab him for this buy round and for the run home. And I will be next week for sure. I'll probably hold on to Tago this week. And next week I could be offloading one or both of Talakai and Tago. So 540K for Talakai, break even with 74. He's been really not flattering since those big scores early in the big price rise. He's been good enough to hold and kind of play. But, yeah, if he doesn't make that blue squad, I've held him for the number for the next round. I'll be sending him packing to get him Madison easier.
I have to 100% agree with you, Mikey. I think if he makes that blue side, which I'm kind of not expecting him to make.
Nor am I. He's got to make way.
I think he's going to be around 17 number, but say he is named again, which is likely. I don't know. He's that kind of player that he bursts onto the scene and he probably can't keep that output going for a full season. So I'm 100% on board with you for that. Guys, I just want to bring up something I haven't brought up all year, and I've been meaning to do it for weeks and weeks. And
Are you coming out?
No, so I'm announcing our top 5 for our overall group for the winner of the Viliami jersey. We should be doing this every week. The Viliami jersey.
Let me get one.
You better get one. The SuperCoach Championship ring, and I'm pretty sure we've got another prize in there. The cutoff is closed, so we're not giving out the code now. Roosters pack with Troy. There it is. There awesome. It is. It is very nice. We've got the KFC SuperCoach logo on the front. The Viliami 21 on the back with the Top Sport logo. Looking nice, and it's nice pink and black. And we did see you wear it on the Daily Telegraph live stream, Timmy, and you got... I was hoping Kick Hour was going to score well for you that week, so Timmy Williams could have worn the Viliami jersey on the Bloke podcast, because that was the deal, wasn't it?
We did have a gentleman's agreement. I believe there was nothing. It was sort of a nod. I might have just been in disbelief and it mightn't have happened, but look, would have been cool. But that's okay. I'm going to be presenting one to Viliami soon. It's been a hectic couple of weeks, but I'll get you guys yours over the next couple of days as well. So,
very good.
Looking forward to wearing it, mate.
The top 5 for our group is Roosters pack with Troy. He's ranked 3rd overall. He's been up there all year, so congrats on the rank, and I hope you keep on with it, but maybe not as much as us. But, you know, hopefully one of us can take it out. The Chichimungas, Ryan in 9th. Very good. 3rd is the Headgears, Brian Seeney, the NRL physio. I didn't know he was in our overall group, so great.
Keen on the jersey, mate. He really wants the jersey.
He's 52nd overall. He's killing it. NMNL by Sam, 54th. And then Toby's Troops, Toby, 66. And then we've got 10 in the top 100. And there at 10th and 11th is the Savage Turbos and the Viliami. So we'll try to give that a shout out every week because we absolutely forget about it and neglect it. That jersey is up for grabs, the SuperCoach Champion ring, and very good. You forgot about Sean Lane. What are our thoughts on Sean Lane? He absolutely killed it last round. I think he is an under the radar, but not so much anymore pod.
I think you still stay a pod. I really like Sean Lane because after his performance last week, I was like, oh, this guy's like got a really big attacking upside. He's getting the minutes, and the nice combo that him and Dylan Brown are performing together is great. And it's where they're both, cashing in on SuperCoach. It's just for me, it's Lane or Madison. Lane now costs only 80K less than Madison, basically. It's 593, break even at 53. I think you maybe missed the boat a little bit, but if you're keen, you've got to jump on now. But I think I just feel more comfortable spending my money on Ryan Madison, paying a little bit more and knowing what I'm getting from him because he's shown the consistency. But I think Lane will stay under 5%, and he's basically a super pod right now, and I don't hate it. I did look into it, but now knowing that Madison's going to be free and available, most likely,
I'm
I
on the
just
fence
prefer him.
about Lane, and I feel like I'm more leaning to the no side of the fence about it. I think he's all right, but yeah, I think you bring up a good argument. If you've got IPAP and you want either Madison or Lane, then I'd probably go Madison too, because I feel like you'd be always kind of nervously watching the para games, hoping Lane scores, where you don't have to worry about that with Madison. He'll just chock away, do his thing. Good points.
Very good. All right, guys, 6:30 now. I think a couple of us need to leave now, so let's just finish it off with the bowl predictions and the captain choices. Just back on that overall championship group. There is a winner for the Viliami jersey, the SuperCoach champion ring, and at the end of the year, we're going to organise something, hopefully for the later rounds, with a $500 bar tab at a place of choice. We'll have to discuss that later. I haven't told you guys, but that's going to happen.
Who's that for?
Just for us. For us.
For us, three. Oh, us four.
For
five.
And whoever wants to come, there's going to be an open bar.
Like it's a bit of a flex. Oh, yeah, we're going to get on the piss at the end of the year. We've got $500 in the bar. Woo! He's not coming either. We're drinking it all.
Yeah, all right. So, bowl predictions and captain options. Let's go with you, Mikey.
Oh, I haven't really thought into it this week. My head's all over the place. Not really loving or liking anything. But look, I think Cleary, he was absolutely outstanding at Origin. We could all agree with that. So I'm going to double down. He's going to be my captain this week. I'm not really liking. I'm not captaining Hines again. I'm over him. I don't care that he's playing the Bulldogs. He sucks away from home, and I just can't do it. Cleary, I can trust and I can back, and he's up for these big games. He wasn't rested last time, and he got a solid score after backing up. So Cleary will be my captain. My VC's on. Obviously, I've got to do the Melbourne game, so my VC's on Munster. If he doesn't play, I will go to Owakalatu instead. Bowl predictions. Yeah, Cleary. Let's go for a 125 plus. Alex Johnston to reprieve me bringing him in, and he will get an A. He'll get a ton against Para, and then I'll combine that in with Ravalawa to get back-to-back 70s. Yep.
There we go. I'll go next because Tim is always just thinking, so I'll give him that extra minute. My captain options this week, I honestly don't know. But the captain is Cleary at the moment, and against the Roosters, he scored 140 last year in between the bye rounds at Bluebet Stadium, so I can't go against him. And with the form he's in, got to go that. My bold predictions, I'm getting in Kolomatangi and Marnie this week, so I'm going to double down on them for 80 plus each. And I am also going to go, I'm very excited about one of my players this week. I'll just get it up very quickly. It was Kolomatangi. I'm very excited about Kolomatangi. So, yes, I'll actually double down and go, he's going to go 100. Marnie's going to go 80 plus. There we go.
All right. This is what I got for you. So, I've got Gutho's I've got a feeling about him. Watching him sort of giving the boys a pat on the back at the end of the State of Origin game made me think he looks pretty hungry to get out there himself and have a blinder. I don't own Gutho, but I think he's going to ton up. So I'm going to go Gutho for 100 plus. I'm also in the same game going to select Cody Walker, who I do own, and he's been sort of a little bit underwhelming, playing okay-ish footy for the most, not getting a lot of the points because he's only been getting the contributions, not the assists. But look, I got a feeling he's going to go low again. And I'm going to call it and put that out there. So hopefully I'm wrong and the universe does the opposite. So I'm going to go Cody Walker for sub 40. I don't know if that's bold because that's just kind of been happening a bit. But we'll chuck that in. And a third one just on the fly because I was for Feeder's back. Okay, so I don't own him. And he's coming off the bench. I'm going to say for Feeder for 90 plus off the bench. And
very good.
And captain, I think, Cleary's a standout option after what he's been showing us lately in club footy and also in State of Origin. But I don't know. I might look elsewhere. I'm a little bit worried about are resting, but probably won't get rested. Hey, probably
He
not
didn't
gonna-
last time. I don't think he will.
He'll get
Not
rested
with
in
the
18.
bench.
18.
Yeah,
No,
it's a
no,
tough. There's not really anything else standing out. Maybe the Sharks game. You could look at maybe Hines,
Kennedy.
Kennedy. I
Can't
don't
do
mind those either. Yeah, maybe
All right.
even Drinkwater for myself. It's a bit ballsy though. Real bit out there.
Or Reece Robson.
Hmm.
All right, cheers, guys, for tuning in. I actually did think the other week that the bowl predictions were getting so silly because we're getting them so wrong. Maybe next week we just do one bowl prediction each. The thing we think is 100% going to happen. We don't call it bowl
And
predictions.
one-
We call it our 100% lock.
Listen, mate, I saw someone
It's
give you a
one
bit of
thing.
negative feedback in the comments on one of your Instagrams. Don't bloody change the segment for one bloke. Don't you worry about him. We'll be
We're
giving
getting
55 bold predictions all we want, and we'll be getting them wrong.
We're getting it so wrong though.
Hey, but the times we get them right, we look like geniuses, which happen once every year. Someone gets them right, and we're like,
Yes,
yeah.
It's like having a multi. Yeah,
Like,
you know, it's
Yeah.
fun having.
like night of
Edging our best.
76 on the dot. That was a
Yeah,
great
that-
moment.
until updates. But
Yeah. All right, cheers guys for tuning in. And
thanks, guys.
we didn't get
Have a good week.
we didn't get to heaps of questions, but they'll be answered.
We got time taken up with ISAIYA KATOA, so hopefully you guys enjoyed that. If you tuned in late, tune back in to when Brennan releases it, and you can see that.
Nice.